So we have a mix over here. There's heritage turkeys, which are the bigger ones. We also have ISA brown layers. We have 15 of those. We have 5 mixed breeds of what we have from the farm. Somebody bought fertilized eggs from me, took them home and incubated them, and decided that they didn't want to have them anymore. So I took them back. And then also I have 10 Cornish Cross over here that I got from a store, super sale. I should be receiving 65 Cornish Cross here in the next day or so, and they're going to go out in the field, which I'm going to show you later at the chicken tractor that we built. So I'm going to grab their water, bring that back out. Oop. I make life hard for myself sometimes. This is another project I got in the works for another coop. In here, the newest batch of turkeys, broad-breasted. Check on them. Oh, they're out of water too. So I have 52 turkeys currently, and then an additional 30 chickens, and I'm about to get 65 more, and then I'm going to order another 70 after that, so we have a continuous flow of chicks. So I'll show you what I do with the water. I'm going to pause this for a second, but this is our water tank that I have. It's on wheels, and I could feed it with the hose, and it's super easy. I just plumbed it in. I'll set this up so we can watch. I guess we're recording. Trying to set this thing up. So I just grab their feeders, the waters, and with the new chicks, what I do is get these electrolyte packets. It's just like a Gatorade for chickens. When you get them from the grower or the chick producer, hen house, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times they're dehydrated, they are mass quantities, they're in hot conditions all the time. So for the first week of them being here, I give them Gatorade. And it helps them hydrate, and when I first get chicks out of the box, whether I pick it up from the store or I get them in the mail, I always do this. And when the chicks come, the first thing I do is take the chick and I put their beak in the water. And to do that, they know where the water is after that, and they go to it. And when you do that, especially with turkeys, you got to reserve the food for a few hours. So they're drinking and they're not eating, which I've noticed from the 2 years that I've had turkeys that survivability rates are greater. When you gave them just the food, we had more die, food and water. But if you have just water and no food, they're more likely to live. Hey, big pig. Oh, hey, big pig. Oh, big pig. You guys hungry? You guys hungry? You guys hungry? I don't like to feed them in the barn because I want them to be outside because they're going to be, they are pasture-raised pigs. This was their first pen that I established, and I put electric lines up on the inside, and that got them trained to the electric lines. So I opened them up, and here's the electric lines. See, look, they're trained. I got to get their food. Hi, babies. Are you hungry? Don't touch that line. So I opened them up, and it's kind of hard to see, but they go way over there. See the poo flinger? Just past that. So they got more than enough room right now, and I'm waiting for them to go over there. I'm going to give them an outside shelter just because I don't want them to go in the barn anymore. Not until wintertime. Butcher dates are probably going to be in December, so I reserve food for them. I don't give them as much because I'm not trying to grow them as fast. I'm going to go get their food now, pellets and lettuce. Come on, big pig. All right. So, Pistolette gets one. Oh! That's Boudin. And that's Mudbug. So as you can see, they still get excited and they touch the fence. But the fence is hot and it keeps them away. They always go for the grain first and then they'll go for the lettuce. So I come out here a couple times a day. Melissa will come out here a couple times a day and we'll just feed them scraps or whatever. They're not hungry. Plus they have the pasture to roam out there, so they eat bugs and roots and all that kind of stuff. So the goal for this fence, this is a psychological barrier. Obviously it's hot. I just wanted to feed them out here because it's a little cleaner. Where I normally feed them, it's like a mud pit. Just because we've had a lot of rain, I didn't want to feed them out in the mud. So normally it's over there. And they'll jump up on the thing and I'll scratch them and it's fun. But for this purpose, I wanted to feed them over here and show you how electric fences work for pigs. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go get the four-wheeler and we're going to go get the meat birds and we're going to move them. Just one more thing with these guys. So they're friendly. So when they were little, you know, we'd go in their pen and we'd play with them and pet them and all that stuff. And I don't want pigs that are aggressive and that we're not, like all our animals, we're involved with them. So I don't want animals that are standoffish to people. So this is why we come out here and what we do. So, and when they do get hungry, they come up to my boots and they try to eat my laces. But they also like a good scratch. Amerigo! Hi babies. So these are our broilers and that is my chicken tractor. The frame of this is from a reused greenhouse. I had it for a couple years and wasn't using it. It was in the barn, so I figured might as well just use it. So we shortened it down. Obviously it's not as high as a greenhouse would be. And then turned it into a chicken tractor because we're doing pastured poultry. So what I'm going to do is show you my morning routine as far as the chickens are concerned. This whole thing, making videos and stuff like this, it's on my phone. So bear with me. I don't have the equipment yet. So hopefully this is something that people would like to see and I could do. I don't know. We'll see. So let me go move these guys. I'll show you what I do. My ingenious lock here is just a bungee cord. So this feeder I built out of scrap material. I didn't want to have to buy one. They were like 50, 60 bucks. But what I did is take 3-inch PVC, split it in half, made the seats, found some wood, some screws, and an old broom handle. It's kind of nice and light and easy to move. So what I do, I'll just put that aside. Got the rope. Start pulling. These little guys are used to it now, so they move to the front of the coop. Well, they'll hear the four-wheeler, and they come running for food. Like I said, all our animals are pretty much trained. So they move to the front. There's enough space in here for about 70 birds, comfortably. So this is our first batch. This is my first time doing pasture broilers. Being out on pasture seems to be reducing their food. I read it reduces about 20%. I don't know if that's accurate, but it definitely reduces their feed. And they're getting bugs and grass, and they're just attacking the grass right now. So they're out here doing chicken things. Just take their feed, put it in the bucket every morning. It's a little easier than using the bag out here. Pop that in there, take the feeder. They're about 4 weeks old. I'd say right now they're about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. They're outgrowing the feathers, so that's why you see bald spots. But that's this breed of chicken. Their legs are huge. I'm gonna get the water. So I got 2 waters, and I just rotate every day. That's it. You lock them up, and we'll see them later. So, with this, what I found, I like the water. Some people have square boxes and they put water on top, and there's like a tube that goes down to a hanging water. Those are great, but for what we're doing and what I'm doing, I like to use recycled materials. These waters were inexpensive. You can find them at a farm store. I got a 5-gallon water. I think it was like 25 or 30 bucks, and then I got a 3-gallon. The 5-gallon will last them about 2 days. The 3-gallon lasts them a day. I put it on the ground. It's not hanging. It is a little different because it got a pitched roof. There's tin on top. I actually found that in our barn. So, my materials here, the only thing I had to buy were zip ties to secure the chicken netting, and I found that hardware cloth works better for predation than just that hexagonal chicken wire. Because with the chicken wire, the little chicks would put their heads through it, and the predators would come up and eat them. I found a few that were stripped from the neck up, and figured I needed a smaller hole, so I got the hardware cloth. I think it's like a 1/4 inch square, maybe a 1/2 inch square, but so far we haven't had any losses since I put that on there. But if anybody does this, I'd recommend doing that. I'm kind of mimicking Joe Salatin's idea for pasture poultry. But you can see the trail from where we started moving the birds. When we mowed the pasture, we left the strip a little higher, but then you can see how they eat it down. Bees are new this year. These two hives are my brother-in-law's. My hive is down in our garden. I got mine from the guy down the road. He's part of our farm program. So what I did was trade him a nook of bees for the use of goats to eat down his tall grass. We have something like 58 goats right now. They're Tennessee painting. Probably go up and see them later. All right, trying to set this thing up. I got like this cheap ass. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I got this cheap selfie stick from Five Below. It's starting to become difficult. I probably should just buy the things that I need to buy. Maybe a camera. So if I upload this to YouTube, if anybody ever sees this, you know, I don't know how that works, and sometimes people get paid to do YouTube, so that'd be awesome. If I got paid to do YouTube, I'd get better camera stuff, so you guys can follow me what I do. Pretty interesting. So, my main goal on this farm is to use the land wisely. We don't spray, we don't use any kind of chemical fertilizers or sprays or weed control. It's all organic practices. We intensively graze our animals. The turkeys are going to go out on pasture when they're big enough, when they're going to rotate graze. Our goats, they rotate graze. And what I'm doing is trying to put them in smaller little paddocks, which is a small area, and they eat it intensively, so intensive grazing, and we move them frequently. So that way, they don't demolish an area, they're still grass, and then when we move them, that grass that they just ate grows back, and they eat the next patch, and then so on and so on and so on. Goats are a little different than cows. Cows, you want to move them every day as an intensive grazing program. These smaller paddocks, they eat the whole thing, and then you move them. Some people move them twice a day. With the property being the way it is, that's a little bit more difficult. We don't have the cows yet, so we're going to see how that works. I haven't seen the goats yet today. We moved them yesterday, so they might be everywhere. Hopefully not. No, they look like they're where they're supposed to be. So this is one of our largest fields. This is called Robinson. This is 9 acres, roughly. So what I'm going to do is go out and open the gate, and we're going to go in there and check out the goats. Okie dokie. Yeah, see this thing? $5. It's like an octopus. Those don't work. This barely holds it. Not recommended. But I'm going to use what I got. So yeah, 9 acres like I was saying. And what we did was we split it in half longwise. I don't know if you could see the fence in the middle. We sank the T-posts and I put up electric lines. And that split it in half. So we have our main line down the middle. And to make the paddocks, like to go over to that edge of the field, I mowed lanes in, like this. So where the goats are, we put up a front line, and then once they move out towards the middle, we're going to put up a black line, so they're kind of stuck. I did have to come in here. We clipped the grass to keep it kind of short because I didn't want the grass to seed. Because when you have seeded grass, it's less nutritional value for the animals. The idea is to have 1 week paddocks for the goats. Some of these, because I can't mow straight lines apparently, are going to be 2 weeks, which that's okay. So here's our front line system. So we have the main line that we were following, and then we have the paddock line. So that's the front line. Over here, they're in the corner. They don't need a back line. The fence is the back line. And here's the goats. And that little one over there, that's Joni. We bottle fed Joni. Hey, Sandy. Joni girl. Joni girl, how are you? How are you today? That's Joni Baloney. She slept with us. I had a bottle feeder. She was in our house, in my bed, for about 2 weeks. Let's see if I can get over this fence without getting shocked. I'm going to come down this way. So this line, I tested it yesterday. We're about 7,000 volts-ish. And it's hot. Same thing with that line that comes off of it. Zap. That's our goat shelter that we built. Look at these guys. This is Johnny. He's the face of the farm. What's up, Johnny? Yeah, if you look on our social media or our website, that's Johnny. He's everywhere. He's a good guy. This is Milkmaid. She lost her babies, and what we were doing was milking her to feed the babies that the moms couldn't feed, like Joni. A little football. Kaniki. This is Breach. Breach has an attitude. He will come up to you eventually. He was born Breach. I had to pull him out. And when he came out, he was still in the sack. I had to break the sack. And then he wasn't breathing, so I had to evacuate his lungs. He's got a brother, Loader. Breach was born first. Loader's born second. And he's right over there. But both were breech births. I had to open the sack, and then I had to evacuate their lungs. They had a lot of fluid in their lungs. And when they're born backwards, the fluid doesn't get expelled, like if they were to come forwards. If they were coming out head first, the mom, on their way out, the babies get squeezed and all the fluid comes out. Well, it doesn't happen when they come out backwards. I assume that's the same for like humans, but I had to evacuate his lungs and clear out his nostrils so he could breathe. It's Fudge. No, Sprinkles. I forgot her name. You can barely see him out here. The grass is so tall. And we clipped it. Come on, Johnny girl. This one, she was limping, but when I looked at her hoof, I just had to trim it. Her hooves were growing kind of underneath and up, so we trimmed it. Hopefully that helps with her limping. And that's something that we got to do with these goats. I mean, we're in a valley. What are you guys doing? Oh, Pepe. That's Pepe. Pepe Le Pew. Grease. Kaniki. Look, these are like this is the gang. They follow me everywhere. And then, of course, Joni's the leader. But over here, I like to come over here and when I first came here and we took over the farm, there was 2 hay wagons, and they stretched the tarp across both of them. Well, me being me, I don't know if I'm lazy or if I try to be ingenuitive, whatever that word is. I only wanted 1 wagon. I said, you know what, we could make 1 wagon. So we found these pipes, ran them underneath, and it's collapsible. And we put it out the side. I made these little stands, and then we put the tarp over. There's water on it, but whatever. The little ones like to jump up there. So it's collapsible. We take it down, and there's more room with this 1 hay wagon and doing the pipes in the tarp than there was having 2 wagons in a tarp. That's their lick. That's selenium. They don't have selenium in the soil here. Just this part of Ohio, soil quality is kind of poor, and since we don't fertilize or add anything, we have to supplement free choice, selenium, iodine. Iodine's important. We had a lot of babies that were born hairless and they had goiters. Come to find out, it was the lack of iodine in the moms. Those babies didn't make it. We had one that did make it, actually, because what I did was got an iodine solution that was made for horses, I just gave them less, gave it to the mom, and hoping that that would get into the mom and go to the milk, and the baby would drink the milk and get her iodine. Well, that worked. The mom got the iodine solution. The baby grew more hair, and her goiter went away. It's kind of a Dr. Pol moment, but look at this guy. This is Kaniki. He's all white. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Look at those eyeballs. Oh, you gonna lick it? And look, he's got the dangles. I don't know if you can see. But that's Kanix. And then Pepe. They get jealous. When you start petting one, they all want to come over. Pepe. Oh, and he just bullies his way in here. Look at his little tail. And Joni Girl. Joni's the special one, they know it. Hi. That's Sandy right there, that white one. That's Kaniki's mom. Mary. So Mary, she had something called meningeal worm. And what meningeal worm is a worm that comes with deer. So the deer have it, and they come out here and they defecate out in the field. Those worms hatch, and they crawl on the grass, and then the goats consume it. Well, what that does, that worm gets inside the goats, and it starts to affect their neurological system. So when that happens, they could either die, or if you catch it, you could give them safeguards and a dewormer, and catch it in time, they'll be okay. Johnny had some last year, we got it in time. Mary, we got Mary with the herd. Her back legs don't work anymore because the neurological issues from those worms. Her life got saved, but she's handicapped from it. So it's kind of important to try to keep deer out as best as you can. We are in the national park, so there's not much I can do about the deer. It's just something that we got to live with and watch. Like I said, it's important to be with your animals and your herd, and I try to come out here as much as I can and be with them. Just so, they're used to us, and they follow. Rami over here, oh, her and 3 other goats were in a field. The first field that we moved them to, they didn't want to get with the program, they didn't move with the herd, so they were out there a good month by themselves because she split from the herd. Yesterday when we moved the goats over, we went down there and got her. But she had a little bit of an attitude problem. So hopefully they got fixed. Being out here now, look. Oh, Knickers. Whoa. What's up, little buddy? That's Grease. That's Kaniki's sister. She was all white. She had one brown stripe down her back. But I think being out in the sun, she got turned gray and brown. Kind of interesting. They were similar, except she had the one stripe down her back. They gang up with Joni because they know that Joni's the fave, and they hang out with her. Alright guys, looking good. Oh, these are Tennessee fainting goats. They're a heritage breed from Tennessee, obviously. And we're just, right now we have a smaller herd. We had a bigger herd last year, a few passed during childbirth, and I sold 2. But we're going to maintain a smaller herd because we're going to get cattle, and we're going to see how cows and goats get along together. But with the cows, what we're going to do is intensive graze. This is kind of a moderate intensive graze. The goats like a little bit bigger of a paddock. So like I said, they're going to be out here for probably 2 weeks, and then we're going to move them. We're going to take this line down right here. We're going to move them up to the next part, and that's going to be another week. And once they eat this section down, we're going to move the battle wagon, and we're going to put the back line up so they can't come back here and graze. There's 14 paddocks out here total. So my idea is to kind of do a counterclockwise rotation. They're going to go all the way down to the end, over there, and then they're going to move out on this side, and then they're going to come all the way down here. Depending on what time of year it is and how the grass is growing, I might just put them back on the first paddock where they are now and do it again. Maybe like a less of a time out here. It's more of an intensive graze, and start working our way back to the farm. They will be out here hopefully, let's see, it's mid-July. So September, maybe in October. Last year we put them out here all of July, then we moved them down the road. They were there for 3 weeks, and we brought them back here. There's a lot of grass here, so they didn't eat it as intensive. And when they eat it once they eat it intensively, then that promotes good grass growth, and it kind of like reduces the weeds, and it makes for a healthy pasture and healthy for the goats. So we're gonna keep that going. I'm doing a little bit more of an intensive grazing program, and once we get the cows and we start moving the cows out here, we might do cows on one side, goats on the other. So the cows will have to get moved every day. The goats are going to get moved probably every week. We're just playing around, seeing what works for us. But trying to control the herd and keeping them down to where it's healthy grass, that's important. We also, another pastures, and we have hay fields, so we make our own hay. Closed cycle system, closed loop. Everything that they eat is from here. We do have a friend, he works at a brewery, and he drops off spent brewer's grain. So they make beer, and the waste product from that comes out here, and we give it to him as a treat. But that's not a food source for them, it's just a treat. They do enjoy that, so. And we give it to the pigs and chickens, and nothing really goes to waste here. I know when we lived in the city, we used to have a compost pile, and that was like scrap food and, stuff that you're not gonna throw away, just, organic material. We don't have that anymore. Excess food either goes to the chickens or the pigs. The only compost we have is manure. So like the bedding from the barns, we clean it out and compost it, mostly hay and feces, manure, as people call it, manure. And once that mellows out and it's not as hot, meaning it's mellowed out and composted, that's when we put it back out on the fields. And it's kind of crazy because when you take composted manure and you throw it down on the fields, it's like you take a green paintbrush and you painted that portion of the field green. It's pretty wild. So next time we do it, I'm going to take a before and after shot just to show you that I'm not too crazy. I mean, I am crazy. Got to be crazy to do livestock, I think. Yeah, definitely got to be crazy, especially with cows and the way our property's set up. I'm going to try to halter train the cows and lead them, so if I have to walk them down the road, because I don't have a trailer right now big enough for the cows, I'm going to halter train them, so you might be seeing me walking down the road with cows. Like I said, you got to be crazy. So, all right, so that's kind of like my morning routine and what I do. I'm going to see if I could upload YouTube. I don't know if I can or not. I don't know if it'll be any good, but if it is and people want to see more content or, see other things that we do, I'll make more. And I don't know. We'll see. I watch videos farming, and I kind of like the videos where it's not big farm productions, it's small farm productions. And I identify a little bit more with the smaller farmers because I am a small farm, and I like to do things that are not so much mainstream, like my meat bird coop. I just put it together. I don't know. Oh, I zoomed in there. So, yeah, still learning how to do this stuff, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, I suppose, or whatever they say, but this is going to be a little different. All right.